we cannot navigate a 2027 horizon using a 2022 map. In particular, mention must be made of Section 93, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act 2026, which states that election expenses incurred by a political party for the management or conduct of an election shall be determined by the Commission in consultation with the political parties. Consequently, we would like the political parties to take special note of clause 40, subparagraphs 4 and 5 of the draft regulation dealing with election expenses of political parties for the management of party primaries and for the conduct of elections. Therefore, the Commission has concluded a clause-by-clause realignment of our regulations and guidelines to ensure that they are not only legally aligned, but operationally in sync with the new Act. It is our hope that these updated guidelines will foster a more transparent, fair, and equitable electoral landscape for all the stakeholders involved. With the Presidential and National Assembly election fixed for the 16th day of January 2027 and the governorship and the state houses of assembly elections fixed for 6th February 2027, we are operating in a compressed timetable as a result of the reduction in the various timelines in the Electoral Act 2026, which demands what I call a surgical precision. Our review has been guided by the empirical data, specifically findings from the Political Party Performance Index, PPPI. This diagnostic tool, developed with the support of Westminster Foundation for Democracy, highlighted a disturbing gap between party constitutions and grassroots realities. The newly drafted regulations encompass crucial areas that are central to the operations of political parties in our democratic framework, including 1. Regulation and measure of political parties.
For the first time, you are welcome on board. Together we will salvage democracy in Nigeria by the grace of God. On behalf of the leadership of political parties in Nigeria, I am honored to address this distinguished gathering of critical issues, if not urgently addressed, could undermine the integrity of our electoral process and jeopardize the success of the 2027 general elections. As a key stakeholder in the Nigeria democratic system, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, is duly bound to draw both the national and international attention to evident shortcomings in the current electoral legal framework shortcomings that have the potential to impede, weaken, and destabilize our hard-earned democracy. Nigeria participated actively in the public hearing of the Constitutional and Electoral Act amendments, with the expectations that their contributions would eliminate in a progressive, inclusive, and people-oriented Electoral Act. Unfortunately, the Electoral Act 2026 falls short of these expectations. Rather than advancing our democratic journey, it represents a significant regression, one that must be urgently addressed in national interest. It is particularly concerning that the contentious Electoral Act formed the basis upon which INEC released the timetable and schedules for the 2027 general elections. These had inadvertently placed immense pressure on political parties, especially those outside government, thereby constraining their ability to effectively prepare and contribute to building a strong, inclusive, and stable democratic nation. In this regard, IPAC firmly demand that the National Assembly, as a matter of urgency, revisit and amend the Electoral Act 2026 Specifically, the provisions mandating direct primaries must be reconsidered, and the option of direct primaries restored, or indirect primary restored. The choice of candidate selection method remains an internal affair of political parties and must not be subjected to undue legislative interference.
First question was about how the deliberation went. It went very well. We were all briefed about the new changes in the Electoral Act, just to make sure that political parties know what they should do and when they should do it, because most of the things the INEC does is time sensitive. So if you don't know when to submit a name, when to upload a name, you are bound to run into issues. So they took their time and explained everything to us, and it was really very nice. Okay. Then secondly, the case in Yenagua, to God be the glory, the case was thrown out because it lacked merit. If a party, anybody can choose to pronounce themselves as chairman and go to court, the court looks at it and discovers that you have no local standing, and it throws it out. So I believe the judge did very well by standing on the on truth, and the case is now thrown out, so it's over.
I'd like to ask you a question about 2027. I know that most political parties are already in the preparation mood to select someone who will fly their flag. Is the Labour Party as it is today contemplating fielding a presidential candidate?
Well, it all depends on whoever wants to use the Labour Party, because we cannot go out there to beg people, please come and use the Labour Party to contest election. It's never done. It's left for future aspirants who want to use the Labour Party to come. But we have one certain decision that we have taken. That is to say that we will certainly not field any aspirant from northern Nigeria. We have zoned the position to southern Nigeria. So if any northerner comes now to want to contest election, we certainly will not accept that. But as for who, I can't tell you now, because then it won't be democratic anymore. We're supposed to have and practice internal democracy. So in view of the internal democracy we intend to practice and keep to, we will not be able to tell. When the aspirants come, whoever, if the people like them and vote for them during the primaries, then whoever it is that wins the primaries, then you could be the candidate.
Okay, Ma, your party congress is slated to start by September 26th of this month, which is Thursday. How prepared is the party for this congress?
Well, we are very prepared, but I'm sure you know that lately the surge of people wanting to join the Labour Party is actually on the increase. And if we go ahead to stick to that date, to my mind, we are going to disenfranchise quite a number of people. So I think I may not be able to tell you the exact date or if we are going to change it, but to me, I think we should tinker with that date, sit together as a group and come up with a new date. But of course, political parties are about human beings coming together, so one person cannot take a decision and I cannot take that decision alone.
If Peter Obi and Secretary
well, I don't know about them wanting to return. They said they will not return. So why do you want to use their mouth to eat onions?
Arise TV, please.
I do not think they want to. We wrote a petition to the Nigerian police, and I'm very, very sure they are going to make sure that they bring to book all those who had a hand in what happened on that fateful night, to serve as a deterrent in the future.
So, what's the plan for the other
members? That's all.